Okay, let's go into the part of what a pitch Bible is about. What does it consist of? And I'll share my screen. There we go. And there's the cartoon forum application regulations. So here, step 1, prepare all the required elements. So what are they? Here we go. And let's make it bigger. So first of all, of course, there's a synopsis, short description of the story. Here it's maximum of 700 characters, and that will then appear in the on the cartoon forum page if your project gets selected. So 700 characters is not much. Then there's the actual project file, which would be the pitch Bible in a way. And how many pages? Try not to exceed 25 pages. Wise words. Max 10 megabytes. So it's best to learn how to compress your PDFs in Adobe Acrobat. It's possible. So I have compressed files that were like 100 megabytes in Adobe Acrobat into 10 megabytes or so, or less. Because inevitably you will have many pictures there, as well as text. Okay, we need a summary page, of course, with a title, producers, co-producers, format, audience, and a representative still. So, pretty important stuff. Then we have a page for the concept of the project, which is basically a synopsis, but a longer one than this here. Then there's the treatment and storylines, which you can skip at this point, because I understand that you don't have time for this. It usually takes time. So you can have the page there, but it doesn't have to have any content necessarily. Several attractive stills of the project. Again, here for your task, it's enough to have a couple of quick sketches, and I'm not. Well, I'm thinking what I should say about AI and generative images. Let's say that I don't prohibit using them. So I'd rather see images that are made by you, but if you want to use Firefly or Stable Diffusion or some other AI generation programs, then do it. But yeah. So but see to it that they don't look like it so much. But it also takes time to prompt, as you might know. Okay, then a description of the characters, usually together with images. A note of intent of the producer, which you also don't have, of course, but you can have like a page for it there. A description of the state of the progress, like is it in pre-production? Is it in production? And what are you looking for in general? Like, are you looking for funding? Are you looking for co-production partners, or maybe both? That kind of information is nice to include there. Sometimes it's included already in the summary page. Description of the state of progress. Yes. And a copy of the transfer of rights option letter. Also, you don't need this because it's your property, it's your IP. You don't need a copy of rights that you already own. Okay, so that's how Cartoon Forum describes the contents of a pitch Bible, but it can have other things than that. Okay. We no longer ask for the full storyboard, the European cooperation letters, or the points table. The points table is something specific for Cartoon Forum. So it's about how many companies from different countries are in the co-production, and then you get more points. And if you are from new European countries, new European Union countries, then you get even more points. But that's not specifically to Cartoon Forum, but maybe more to the European Union media or Creative Europe funding. So, and that's something I should have mentioned in the morning, and I had it here in my notes and didn't mention. So let's talk about it now. So Creative Europe is where you can go with your company to get cultural funding. For instance, if you are making an animation, if you are I don't know, starting an animation festival or a film festival, or if you're making, let's say, a mobile game or another sort of computer game, that's also where you can get funding. And not many Finnish companies apply for it because it tends to be a little bit bureaucratic to do the applications, and it takes time. But there is help available. The European Commission, they actually pay for people to help companies to do these applications. So, okay, funding, calls for application and funding. So all of this can look a little bit scary, but yeah, here it says all the topics: music, cultural heritage, cultural industry, architecture, living spaces, literature, regional policy. But there is an easier way in, like a portal, and that's called a media desk. And every European Union country has its own media desk, which has the job of telling about all these funding opportunities of Creative Europe. Here, Media Desk FI is the Finnish one, and they also have an English page. And who's calling me now? Probably my mom. Oh, come on. Yes, it was my mom. I'll call her later. Okay, so the budget is 2.46 billion euro for all of Europe in Creative Europe. So it seems like much, but it really isn't. When you know how much film and animation and games projects actually cost, it's not much. And yeah, this is supposed to be the English site, but it's still partly in Finnish. Interesting. But anyway, they are giving all kinds of, and it's still in Finnish. Creative Europe. What is Creative Desk? Finland, responsible for informing and advising professionals in the cultural and creative sectors. And then there's more information. So here's where you get to know what kind of funding you can apply for in Finnish. Right now, what's going on is the European mini slate development for small European production companies who have at least 2 or 3 movies or TV series for international distribution. And it could be a fiction, animation, document, or a virtual reality and a Finnish company can be as a partner in this application. And what have they had before? Networks of European cinema, European film sales, TV and online content, European film. And what else is here? There's courses and forums which will be relevant to you once you are out of this university. So then you might want to take part in these short courses. Sometimes they are like half a year long, but it's for professionals who are working, and then they get to go to these courses that usually take like a couple of weekends. Okay. Right. So these, like I said, these are right now not so relevant to you, but soon they might be. And what have they decided? Like, who has got money from in 23? Let's see. So Anima Vitae got 245,000 euros. That was probably for the Nico movie. So we saw that they got 1,200,000 from the Finnish Film Foundation, and then this sum also to add. What else do we have? Festivals have got funding. Here's an animated TV series, The Beelzebubs. How many of you have heard of the Beelzebubs comics, for instance? They are, you can find them online and also in the Aamulehti, which in the Sunday papers. Anyway, so they have got some money also from the Finnish Film Foundation for Beelzebubs. Pyjama Films is mostly making children's animations, but now they are also doing this. So Pyjama is in Turku, I think. Okay, and lots of cinemas have got money. So let's see, 22, if there were any animations. So Gigglebug got 240,000, not bad. Again, festivals, TV and online didn't get anything. That went somewhere else. And 21. Now we have Helsinki Filmi. Okay, we have Anima Vitae again, Trash Monsters. So the Finns got 51,000 euros approximately, and in all it was 93,000. So it was a co-production with some others. Okay, but so that was Creative Europe. So one place to get funding also. Also, if you are interested in making computer games, maybe indie games. Anyway, let's get back to the parts of the pitch Bible. What does it have? Contents of a pitch Bible. So now I have actual slides. And some of this is already something that was in the cartoon forum. So, okay, in general, there should be lots of visuals. And very often the pitch Bible is also available as a printed brochure or a leaflet. But yeah, that is not as common anymore as it used to be. But if you print it, then it should be on nice paper. So yeah, the title page, of course, you need all the basic info. And also the genre and who is it for, the synopsis, which has the idea, the genre, and the themes, and the log line, which is the one sentence or two sentences at the very beginning. And the hook means that it contains something that makes the reader interested and curious. If it has it, then good. And yeah, sometimes the budget is already there and how much of it has been secured, not always. Sometimes the budget information comes later on later pages. So this is not like a final truth of what it is, well, because a pitch Bible tends to change all the time, and it doesn't have any set rules in general. Then at some point, it's good to tell what's original about the series and how is it different from other series. And then it could be nice to show some comps or comparative images. But sometimes people go a little bit overboard with the comps, and the pitch Bible is just pictures of other series and nothing else. I find it a bit disturbing. Okay, and there we go. So atmospheric pictures, location pictures, so that kind of stuff. So you show the tone and style of the series. Basically benchmarking, but in TV and movies, it's called comps. And yeah, the last point here, I've noticed that these comps are more used in live action shows, pitch Bibles, than in animated ones. Don't know why that is. Maybe it's some sort of a tradition. And I've talked about the story engine or the series motor earlier already. So at some point, you need to tell what the constant conflict is that keeps the story interesting. It doesn't necessarily need to have its own page, but it has to be somewhere. And character descriptions. So one problem that I sometimes see is that there is too much text, and well written. Of course, all of the page Bible should be well written without much without typos, for instance. And images are pretty important here too, and also character arcs, if they are important in the series at all. So in animated series, not sometimes and very often the characters stay the same for like 20 years, like in The Simpsons. Although I think The Simpsons has been going on for more than 20 years. Yeah. Okay. So sitcom, for instance, the characters, if they change, they change very slowly. Okay, what else? The world. So one page should be about the world or the environment. So what kinds of locations there are, and what's the world view of the series. And don't put too much text there either. And about the writing well, so I know producers who do use AI, like GPT, for not for the original creation of the text, but to make it. But they ask it them the language model to come up with a nicer way to put the same thing, or 3 different kinds of ways to say the same thing, and then they choose maybe one of them. So again, here you have to use your own judgment if you're using any AIs or not. Do you have the Copilot from Microsoft? Can you use it? The one that TAMK is providing us, Microsoft Copilot. So you should be able to log in with your TAMK address to the Microsoft Copilot. The Tuni Intra should have instructions for that. So sometimes these large language models can be helpful, especially if English is not your original language. But then you have to have also your own sense of style, so that you can see when the language model is creating crap and when it isn't.
What can irony do in this?
Oh yeah. Well, of course, irony depends always on the situation and the context. But mostly it's for shows that are for older people, like up from preteens, I'd say. I mean, preteens already have a very strong sense of irony, as you might remember. Like they constantly mock grown-ups, at least. And which is good. Grown-ups should be mocked. I mean, when you're 11, you know everything about the world, don't you? Okay, then the treatments. We talked about that already. Again, keep the text interesting, don't be tedious. I keep saying that because I've read so many boring things. And sometimes the seasons have arcs, then you have to write those. And right now I'm slowly getting a little bit nervous because I'm remembering that I'm going to Helsinki tomorrow to a production company, and we're going to work on a pitch Bible. And I'm getting also feedback for some scripts that I've written for the series. So let's see how that goes. And probably I'll have something to tell on Thursday. But it's a live action series, not an animated one this time. Okay, then a writer's word and a director's word, those are usually included there. And sometimes also a producer's word. But as such, it's good to have a creator's word in your pitch Bible. So why are you interested in this concept? What do you want to say with it? And maybe a photo of you or the team members. And maybe a direct story could be also nice there. Like I had a guinea pig when I was little, and then the guinea pig did something weird, and then and that's why my hero is a super guinea pig. Or maybe something more heart moving than that. Or my dog got her leg broken, and we took her to the vet when I was little, and that's why this is a series about a veterinary clinic. Okay, audience needs. So this should be somewhere. So I think I talked about that earlier already. So what are the psychological needs of that age group? And how does the series fill that need? Or have you noticed that statistically or according to studies, children of this age group should be more outdoors playing, and that's why your series has a lot of children playing outdoors. So that they would watch the series instead of going outdoors, probably. And if you have actual statistics, nice. And yeah, I talked about the visual comps already, but also how is it original compared to other series that already exist, and also how is it similar. So how does it fit into a trend? But remember that what is now trendy, what you can see in Yle, it's not trendy in 5 years, and an animated series usually takes at least 5 years from its conception to distribution. 10 years is still a pretty good time. So you need to have patience with animated series. So it's better to maybe take some relevant trends in society in general, like what's going to be important to kids in 5 years' time or 7 years' time, and basically in the early 2030s.
So basically, if Paw Patrol stops airing now, 5 years from now, I could try to make another one.
Well, there are lots of Paw Patrol clones already. But again, do your research and see if that series that you want to clone already has 10 other clones.
Yeah.
And how is your series original from the 5 others?
My series, they're cats.
Exactly. Yeah, by the way, the one that I mentioned that went to China, the Finnish company, by this very nice couple, I think they had cats instead of dogs. But it was very similar to Paw Patrol. Or if you have, okay, then of course the basic information has to be somewhere and what the company is looking for. I've already said this. And do you have all the rights to the IP or the intellectual property? And if it's not originally yours, then you should have that letter there that's okay. The original author says, yes, you can do this. You have paid them 2,000 euros for that. I've heard of cases like that they paid the original author, Finnish author, like 2,000 euros for the rights of their book series, and then went and did the series. But sometimes it's a good thing to do that. I've done that also. Okay, technology. If there is a specific way that you produce a series, then mention it. But if not, then you don't need to tell that much about the technology. That said, it could be like a really relevant point that you have found out, you have developed like a new way of making animations that look really awesome, but you need to only use like half of the budget of similar looking series for it because of your awesome technology. You might also get funding from Business Finland if you're developing a new technology for animation. I didn't mention Business Finland earlier, did I? Because they don't usually fund content, but they do fund technology and internationalization, stuff like that. So maybe I should get out of here for a while and show you Business Finland website. businessfinland.fi. Let's see what they are. They do have something in English. So we are the government organization for innovation funding and trade, travel, and investment promotion. And they are also funding startups, research organizations, funding for research, product development, and many kinds of business development needs, especially for small and medium-sized companies. Some of the funding that you get from here, you have to pay back. Some of it you don't have to pay back. Ideally, it's funding. You want to have funding that you don't have to pay back, of course. So just showing this. I know that at least Giggleback and Anima Vitae have applied and got money from Business Finland several times. But as I said, they don't fund culturally related content. So it has to be something technological or having to do with marketing or or making your company bigger, or maybe creating a new sort of production, way of production for animation. That could be something they'd be interested about. Okay, back to the slides. The scope and the budget should be somewhere mentioned, but at least a rounded figure, like 2.3 million euros. That's enough, actually. Transmedia plans. I usually include them in my pitch Bibles. If there are going to be books or comics or mobile games or, I don't know, theme parks. Rovio got pretty far with theme parks. And if you have a music, like an animated series with lots of music, you might want to have children's concerts, like live concerts around Finland or around the world. The Swedes have done that with a lot of success, and for instance. So you might have a like kids a band in connection with your series. Any other tie-ins and merchandise, soft drinks or toys? I think we talked about this already. Yeah, one company where I knew the producer, he wanted to have plant seeds as merchandise. It was about growing orchids, the series. So it was relevant. And if you have a series about sports, then you might have want to have sports products, like Wiley's right now, looking for children's and young people's series with sports content, like fiction series. Okay, I think we are almost done. So animation funders or financiers, what do they look for in an IP? They usually want to know if there is already an audience base, and if it's big or not. How easy is it to produce? Is it low cost or moderate cost, or really, really expensive? Does it fit into a TV slot that is already there? Like distributors want to know that always. So you need to know which kind of slots they do have. And does it fit for the audience? And everybody's looking for comedy always. So remember, comedy. Everybody wants comedy. There's a lot of epic drama and not that much comedy, but everybody wants. If it's epic drama, comedic drama, then why not? Yeah. The story engine. Yeah, I keep repeating this. And because animated series tend to have a lot of episodes, then they will ask if you can, if you have treatments for 10 episodes, they will ask if you can make 52 episodes with the same premise. Because that's the usual one. 52. Okay, series or serial, is it self-contained episodes or not? That's what it means. Script-based or storyboard-based. And then if there are any unwanted elements. And let's talk about the unwanted elements in children's TV. Okay, so many of these are pretty obvious, right? You don't want to have erotics unless you're in Denmark. I mean, that's not a joke. For some reason, Danish animated movies and series do have erotic content sometimes. Danes are weird. Also, they have a lot of bad language in Denmark and lots of violence and really gory horror, of course, goes with it. Okay, I talked about the comedic violence in Finnish children's shows. That's like specifically Yle, and Yle didn't want to have anything to do with religion or ghosts or the afterlife or spirits. That used to be the case, at least for smaller children's content, like which goes to the Pikku Kakkonen, the magazine for under school age children. But if you have like preteens, then you might have the permission to have ghosts or spirits already, but not too much like horror. It's because there are lots of very religious people in Finland. You might have heard of religious sects like the Lestadiolaiset or some similar ones. So there are lots of them in the northern part of Finland, and with lots, I mean lots, because most of them have 10 to 20 kids per family. So they keep multiplying. And the parents of well, actually the Lestadiolaiset, they don't watch television at all, so that's not that much of a problem. But the other religious people, they might watch TV. And the parents might then complain that, yeah, there's this kind of religious content, we don't want that. Back in the 1990s, when Pokemon Go was a big thing, both as a game and a TV show, then people were complaining everywhere, like adults, parents, that this show is somehow that there is like demonic stuff going on in the show, because the Pokemon monsters are basically demons that you have in your pocket. So they were campaigning that Christians should not watch Pokemon. Yeah. Okay, and I talked about the cases of death earlier, but there are other cases of death, and it's educational. So if there's only text, for instance, in the pitch Bible, that's a bad sign. Or if the budget is very much lower than, or very much higher than usual, or there's no contact information of anybody, or the images are very far from the actual animation. Okay, this is specifically for animation festivals like Cartoon Forum, where sometimes presenters use much too many gimmicks, or sometimes the team that has been presenting something is drunk between the pitchings, or making very much noise. Or there was an Icelandic team in Cartoon Forum the last time I was there that was making themselves they were really loud and really drunk, and I was like, I haven't heard of them since. So
who is gonna do that?
Yeah, there are always some people. Also, in the like past, sometimes Finnish producers, when they were let go into a place like MIPCOM or Cartoon Forum, they drank too much, because in those networking, when there's networking, that means that there is like as much alcohol as you can drink, and Finnish producers used to use that opportunity to really drink as much as they could, which meant that somebody had to drag them out of the room, things like that. But that was in the past. Right now they are not that bad anymore. Okay, any questions at this point? Do you have your teams? Okay, so now is a good time to ask your friends and peers who is going to be in which team. I mean, you have a 3-people team right there, don't you? Yeah. Do you have a 3-people team? You are already in with Amon. Okay, good. So, but 2 people is also good. Can you be the team? Okay. We already okay, what's the team situation here? Your team. Okay, and here but remember, 4 people is already too much. We all right, so here, this task. So you have are we gonna do you have space for 1 person? Okay. What? Are we gonna do this like right now? You can start right now if you want to. I mean, if we do this like all the time, I'm just like yeah, it's up to you. So it's up to you how you're going to be in touch with each other. But you will need some time outside of the classes. Okay, I'll close the recording now.